Hey friends, it's T in the Cherokee having a little bit of coffee. Come on here, caramel macchiato with extra caramel. Y'all, if you love Starbucks, then you already know you got to catch them before they close because nobody in Fort Wayne wants to work. So Starbucks is forced to close super early. Whatever. Friends, how are we doing? How we be? How's that mental? How's your life? Are you happy? Did you get up today and decide to be happy or decide to be down in the dumps? I don't know. I'm having a grand morning. I'm just out here in this parking lot chilling, waiting on my daughter. She had a little appointment or whatever. So I'm chilling. I was like, you know what? Let me holler at my friends. Y'all, Bellamy Grace. Sis requires much. So I think my husband and I have a plan now so I can be more consistent with my motivation and my videos and stuff. Because I'm telling you, sister girl needs all of my TLC. Okay, all of my time, all of my attention, for real. So, anywho, y'all, speaking of Bellamy Grace, I just wanted to real quick talk to y'all about, I guess, mental health. You know, and I know I don't have any letters before my name, or after my name. I don't have no PhD. I can only speak on my experience. Okay, so we all know mental health has really been a huge topic of discussion. It's so very important that we take care of this, right? I know that in our culture, we were kind of taught, suck it up, buttercup, keep it moving, be strong, don't deal with your feelings. Biggest load of crap I've ever heard. Why don't we talk? Why don't we want to release? Why don't we want to be healed? I don't know. If you broke your leg, you're for sure going to the ER to get that thing patched on up, right? So why is it that when we have issues of the mind, making sense of things, you know, our feelings, our emotions, trying to cope with this life, why is it that we have an issue having a conversation, an open, vulnerable conversation? Yeah, I don't know. So look, had Bellamy, you know what? Let me back it all the way up, y'all. Let me back it all the way up. I went into this marriage saying, I'm not having any more kids. Okay. And then my husband was like, no, I want to really have a baby. I'm like, okay, we had a baby, you know, so it happened pretty quickly. Bellamy came. My pregnancy was no joke. 36, pregnant, hadn't had a baby in 10 whole years, bro. Let me tell you, it took a toll on my mental as well as my body. Pretty much when I found out I was pregnant, within 3 weeks, I got the morning sickness. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. First trimester, I can wing it. No big deal. But no, it went from first trimester to the second trimester to the third trimester, to the point, y'all, where I lost a total of about 27 pounds in my pregnancy, which was a blessing in disguise because I was a little chunky. Okay. So the process sucked, but I'm so happy that after I had her, I was able to fit clothes from like 2019. Okay. Thanks, sis. So it took a toll on my mental. I wasn't working. So I'm in the house. I'm sick. You know, I just remember at my birthday, you know, my husband got me a cake and me and my kids were just sitting at the table and I'm just like, ugh, just felt like crap, right? You know, when you don't feel good, that plays on your mental. It's winter time. There's not a lot of sunshine. I need the sunshine, y'all. It does something for my spirit. Like when I get up in the morning, the first thing I do, open blinds, open curtains, open the door. Like I just love that natural, beautiful sunlight. It just gives me so much life. So you know how it is in the wintertime. You don't have so much of that. And on those gloomy days, those dark days, that can really start to wear on your mental. So I'm struggling right through this pregnancy. Not feeling like myself. Always had my face in the toilet. Like literally, it was to the point where I was eating celery for breakfast. just to have something on my stomach, because my little girl would not allow me to eat anything. I was eating celery, like cucumbers every day. Y'all, it was crazy. Nevertheless, I got through it, but I had to have a conversation. I remember my friend Casey Joe, hey girl, came over to visit me, and she walks in the door. I just bust out crying, and we were talking. She was like, Toya, are you okay? And I was like, I don't know. I can't figure it out. You know, I was a mess. I was just bawling. Toya, I think you're dealing with depression. I'm just like, you know, heard about depression. You see people on TV balled up in the corner crying somewhere in a dark room. But in reality, depression looks like this. Hi, how are you? I'm great. Doing well. That's what depression looks like in real life. Especially in 2021. People are wearing a mask because no one wants you to see the real them. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to be vulnerable. Okay, so that was me. I really didn't know all the ins and outs of depression. I didn't know of anything called prenatal depression either. So I talked to my amazing doctor, started taking some medicine. Well, so here's the thing with that. Literally tried the medicine for 3 days. My body rejected it. Like, it made me more sick than the morning sickness. So I'm like, you know what? I thought in that moment, okay, maybe the Lord just wants me to tough it out. So I quit taking the pills. Literally 3 days. I was in a cold sweat. It was just bad. Stopped taking the medicine. I started to get a little bit better, but I had to like make myself get up. I had to make myself get out. It was just an ugly time. I think my husband and my son just hated to see me down all the time. Like, I wasn't active. I didn't want to get up and go nowhere. You know, it was just a lot. Anywho, got through. Time to have a baby. Bellamy Grace comes 3 weeks early. She probably heard me saying, sis, hurry up and get out because you're about to get evicted. Like, I was just over it. So baby girl comes 3 weeks early. Literally, I'm laying in the bed. Me and my husband laying in the bed. It's like 12 o'clock at night. Crazy. Just laying there. And I'm like, oh, big, my water broke. That's a whole crazy scenario. Like, I've never had my water to break at home. My last child, they had to break it for me. So that was a new experience. And my husband and I have been like trying to prep, like, what are we going to do when the time comes? Girl, look, let me tell y'all what he did. Yes, BJ, I told you I was going to tell the people. My husband first was like, so your water broke in the bed? I'm like, well, babe, that's where I lay. So that's where it happens. So my water breaks, y'all. I'm laying in the bed. After he processes that this is happening, my husband gets up, goes and stands in the closet and says, babe, what should I wear? If you know BJ, then you know. This man asked me, what should I wear? Meanwhile, I'm in the bed leaking amniotic fluid. Like, babe, can I get a towel? So he's like, okay. So I'm like, okay, is this his way of dealing with the shock? Like, I'm so confused. So he, you know, I'm like, can I get a towel? Like, I'm leaking. So get me together. Then my husband, babe, where are you? He's in the kitchen making himself a little meal. He was like, well, I researched it and we don't really know how long we're going to be there. So I need to eat. Yeah, babe. You need to eat. Still over here just a leaking. Anywho. And I told him I was going to tell people because my husband, that was the funniest thing. Like, this man put on earrings. He was, I mean, he had on a nice pink shirt that had dad on it. I mean, he really went to the hospital fresh. I'm like, cool. Anywho, moving right along. Get to the hospital. At this point, I'm feeling like light pain. I have a very high tolerance for pain. So I'm just like, okay, this is so different from anything I expected as far as labor, y'all. Get to the, you know, in there, they making sure I'm actually in labor. Bellamy never dropped. That's why I was tripping. Like, man, I'm about to be here all day. After, I don't know, an hour or so of monitoring her, I think her heart rate must have dropped. They come back in the room talking about an emergency C-section. Excuse me, come again, say what? When I tell you I was scared to death, I have never had a surgery. I've never had any physical ailments ever to have me in the hospital. Like, I'm not ever sick. So I'm like, oh no, I'm tripping. My husband and I pray. I talk to my mom. I calm down. I have this whole C-section. Like, I go into the room, y'all. It was looking like straight Grey's Anatomy off up in that thing. I'm like, Lord, please allow me to come up out of here. I was so scared. Anyway, Bellamy comes with an amazing set of lungs, blesses us with her presence. She's healthy. Everything is great. Everything is good. Okay. Fast forward, go home. People start bum rushing immediately, coming over wanting to see her. My mom was staying with us, to help. All of a sudden started to feel extremely overwhelmed, tired. I'm watching her breathe. This is not my first child, y'all, but I was like a new mom all over again. Okay. Watching her sleep, can't get no rest, breastfeeding, still trying to maintain some type of something. I have a husband, I have other kids, still trying to be, a member of society. I was rushing myself. So what happened? I slipped into depression, which is normal. But for me, this time it was a little bit deeper. Like, I was starting to experience the most scary thoughts. Like, I wouldn't let my daughter out of my sight. I thought for sure something terrible was going to happen to her. Like, those thoughts were in my head. Like, I just knew. But the things that I thought could happen were so outlandish. Like, my daughter would never be in harm's way, right? I just would never allow that. But my thoughts started to consume me. I called my doctor, like, yo, they had me take this test. I scored really high. They're like, you're definitely experiencing postpartum. Come in now. I'm like, oh my gosh. Now, here's the thing. I had been experiencing these issues long before I made the call to my doctor, simply because I'm like, I had convinced myself, Toya, you're fine. Get over it. You're strong. You'll be okay. Until it kept continuing. I'm like, dude, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. So I went on in there, told the lady what I was feeling. Be healed in Jesus' name. So I got the proper help that I needed for myself so that I can be the wife I need to be, the mother I need to be. I'm telling y'all, that was a scary situation in my life. I had never dealt with postpartum depression to this level before. So fast forward, I'm feeling great. I'm great. God is good. Family is supportive. I had to really open up my mouth and communicate to my husband what I was experiencing and what I needed. And of course, he was on board. Whatever you need, I got you. We'll get through this together. Daughters, my kids, everybody in my corner was supportive, right? Didn't go on this journey alone. So then, like a flip, some stuff started happening with my we got a little scare with my grandson. So I ended up keeping him. That was a light. It's making me get out of the bed. It's making me be active. He's keeping me on my toes. If y'all know Cairo, aka Mr. Dude. There ain't no rest for the weary. That boy is no joke. So I just started to experience that sunshine in my life again. So God is good. God is great. Mental health is serious. I understand why people commit suicide. I understand why people shut themselves off from life. I understand why people are afraid to communicate. I felt very uncomfortable telling my husband that I was dealing with depression. He didn't judge me. He didn't laugh. He was extremely supportive. Why did I struggle to tell him something that is normal and that a lot of people experience? Because again, we were taught what goes on in my house stays in my house. Keep it to yourself. Gird up. You're good. You're strong. Listen, I encourage you. Tell your kids. Talk about your feelings. Talk through it. Let's walk through it. Let's be healed. That is a choice to be healed. You do not have to suffer alone. You should not suffer in silence because, as I say all the time, the next person is dealing with the same stuff. Just we got to learn to open up our mouth to intentionally be healed. I could have made a choice to sit in and sulk and woe is me and just be, because I'm telling you, there were some days where I was real ugly. I didn't even like myself. I could have stayed in that mess. I thank God that he, with his direction and his word, I was able to be pulled out of that dark hole. That's why I have to talk about these things, because somebody watching this video is dealing with some stuff that you think is bigger than you. You don't see an end. You don't know if that light is going to come at the end of the tunnel. The situation it is probably consuming you. I want to tell you, T in the Cherokee is telling you, pull yourself out, open your mouth and have a conversation. That's it. That's all. Hopefully you have at least one person. Well, you do have one person. You can call me. I can try to connect you with the right people. There are resources. There are people that are ready and willing to help. When I called the doctor's office, the nurses made me feel so great. They were like, thank you for calling. This is awesome. This is brave of you. And I was just like, okay, for real? Cool. Like, everything about the whole process made me feel empowered. It changed my views on how I viewed mental health. Hello, if my daughter get the cough in and I can't figure it out, we going to the doctor. So why don't we have that same energy when it comes to the matters of our mind? I don't know. But I'm determined to be healed. I'm determined to help you be healed. There is greater. Joy does actually come in the morning, but you got to do the work. Open your mouth. Open your mouth. I am lucky enough to have people in my life and in my corner that notice, like, hey, you're a little off. This isn't you. You know, I'm able to have a very bomb supportive village. You know, I know that everybody doesn't have that, but guess what? You don't have an excuse no more, because T will help you. That's the calling on my life. What's up? So yeah, y'all, mental health, we need to take it serious. And I'm not by any means a doctor, a psychiatrist, a therapist, none of that. I just know what I experienced over the course of a year. And I tell you, through that, there were so many lessons. Like, even through that, my depression, God was still speaking. There's always a lesson to be learned, you know? So I came out of this situation stronger. I came out of this season to help the women in my Bible study on Wednesdays, to just be a light. That's what it's about. We're here. We were saved to serve. I am here to serve. So every single experience that I go through and I overcome, y'all already know. I'm going to tell y'all, but listen, Bellamy has been holding me up. I'm trying to tell y'all, sis is a diva. And I love it. BJ don't even know what he in for. I have so many plans for sis. Okay. I hope this message helped somebody, y'all. Be encouraged. Open your mouth. Closed mouths don't get fed. Open your mouth. Say what you want. Be vulnerable. Be real. Somebody will listen. Somebody. Let's stop using excuses. Let's stop feeling sorry for ourselves, because I'm telling you, we've all been through crap that goes way back to childhood, right? We need to start unpacking these traumas and start to heal. You can no longer, listen. You can no longer blame anybody for your current situation. Okay? None of us asked to be here, right? I can't go back and blame mom and dad because they didn't do this or at the end of the day, they did the best they could. I'm an adult. I have a family. It's time for me to take responsibility and heal from those past things. Learn from those past things. Do better for those past things. Because you know what? I got 4 kids looking at me. I have a husband. I'm a light to them. I am a person in my house that can show them, well, this is possible. Mom got through this. Oh, well, my wife is strong. She got through this. But you know what? Strength is not always about showing, you know what I mean, that you're not hurt, or that you can't be, don't ever think it won't happen to you. Period. Don't ever think that it can't happen to you. Trouble will come knocking at your door. Only God knows when. It's inevitable. So prepare yourself. Put on that full armor of God. There is a spiritual war going on. We already know. Be prepared. Come on, y'all. We have to do the work. So quit blaming people. Quit with this woe is me stuff. Yeah, it's easy to stay right there, but guess what? People gonna stop fooling with you, because we all have a decision to make. Get up and be better. Get help. There are resources. There really are no excuses. I hope I'm not offending anybody. I'm just saying. You ain't gotta do it by yourself. So with that being said, I love y'all. We back. I have something brewing that's going to be coming live and direct to you guys. So shout out to my husband and my brother for keeping me accountable on that. But per usual, we're in this together. Love you guys. You can either thank me now, or sis, you can even thank me later. But either way, you're going to thank me. Talk to you later.